The Canadian government is trying to orchestrate a stealth bailout of the banking system, once again using the CMHC as the vehicle for that. So we're going to get into what's going on. So Ottawa to expand 30-year amortizations, raise insured mortgage cap. Just a warning, I may lose it during this video because I think this is just completely insane. And it also makes my blood boil because it's just open air corruption that is right in front of people's eyes and they just can't see it. They can't work it out. It's just absolutely crazy. So anyway, the CMHC, which I personally think should be scrapped, but anyway, they're just expanding it. So the Liberal government on Monday announced proposed changes to the Canadian mortgage market, expanding the availability of 30-year amortizations and raising the cap on insured mortgage products. So basically, insured mortgage products, for anybody not in Canada, these are just subprime loans. They're really risky loans that the banking system would not take on without government support. They use taxpayer dollars in order to fund this. They also charge the buyers. This is a great win for the banksters and the banking system, and a total loss and lose for all Canadians because it doesn't matter if you're a taxpayer or a first-time home buyer. They're using your money to fund this housing Ponzi, which is imploding, and this is one of the reasons they're trying to revive it, although I think this will have little impact. So first-time home buyers, as well as those purchasing new builds, will soon be able to take out insured mortgages with a 30-year amortization, and that basically right there allows them to just be debt slaves to the banksters even more, and they're taking on 5 years more of interest rate risk, remember, as well. So the exposure to risk there is increasing, and they're allowing the amount of equity that they put into it to come way down to 5% on a $1.5 million home, which they're expanding the cap by 50% from $1 million to $1.5 million. That is $75,000. That is completely insane. You guys just watched the unbelievable loss video, and I'll link it at the end of this one just in case you haven't seen that video. But look at some of the losses that those people are incurring and think about $75,000. I mean, it's hard to find a loss of that little amount. You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's why these are just insanely risky loans. If you've traveled or gone to any other country in the world, you'll know that this type of lending only happens with government intervention, and it's the taxpayer ultimately that is backing these complete garbage loans. And that's what is so infuriating to me about this, is they're just complete garbage loans. So additionally, the Liberals are raising the price cap for taking out an insured mortgage to $1.5 million compared with the previous $1 million. Again, just completely ridiculous and stupid. Extending amortizations helps reduce the monthly burden of carrying the mortgage, though a homeowner is likely to pay more interest over the life of the loan. So once again, that is a complete win for the banksters and the banking system. I mean, how is the first-time home buyer winning by this? I don't know. I mean, it is just so obvious to me that this has nothing to do with the first-time home buyer, and it has more to do with the imploding real estate bubble in Canada, and the fact that we know on this channel that some of the banks are in a distressed state right now. The repo market volume speaks for itself. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to work out what's going on here. So under the proposed changes, an individual could put down between 5 and 20% of the value of a home worth up to $1.5 million, lowering the size of the down payment needed. Again, that is the amount of equity that they have in the home to start with. And just remember, guys, mortgages, the actual word mortgage comes from a French expression, which is essentially debt for life. It's debt slavery. So they're just continuing that tradition here. And what's so interesting about this is they're just allowing more and more risk in a market that, as I said, we have just proved is very, very risky right now. And they're just saying, hey, this is a perfect time to jump in with the minimum amount down. I mean, it's completely insane. And yeah, what would you expect from the Canadian government? It doesn't matter whether it's Conservatives, Liberals, or the NDP. This is coming from the underlying power structures from behind the government that I constantly talk about on this channel. This is why I don't believe there'll be any change when the government changes, because you look at what's happening, it's all coming from the banksters themselves. These policies, they are not government policies instigated by the Liberals. If they are, then it just shows how brain dead they really are. are. So either way, it's just a net loss here. It's just completely insane. So the proposals come after the Liberals instituted new changes as of August 1st to allow 30-year amortizations for first-time home buyers taking out insured mortgages on new builds. The funny thing about that is, as well, is if you look at new builds, they're priced like 20-30% higher than the used home market. And soon enough, I'm going to have an interview that's going live with Mitch Wexler, and we talk about this insane appraisal fraud that is going on, because how on earth does somebody get a loan out for a house that they're trying to sell because it's new construction for 30% more than the used resale home market around it? It's because it's an entirely corrupt system, and the system, as Mitch says in the interview, should not allow for this to happen. And the fact that this happens just shows how much fraud is going on, and it comes from the banks. It also happens on the end of the person taking out the loan. There's rampant fraud there, so it's just completely insane. Freeland was asked Monday about concerns that adding more buyers to the housing pool would drive up home prices and end up further eroding affordability. She defended the move as giving a leg up to younger Canadians. Just replace younger Canadians with banksters, because that's what's really going on, offering them an advantage over established owners in the market. How is offering them a more risky loan an advantage? I mean, again, they're either brain dead or this is coming from the banksters themselves, and I'll let you be the judge on which one that is. I think I know which camp that I'm in here. So very interesting. And let me know in the comments, do you think this actually comes from the government, or do you think it comes from the power structures behind? So with these measures, first-time home buyers are going to be in a stronger position. We think it's the right thing to do. I mean, they just parrot that all the time, her and Trudeau. We want people to be building more homes faster in Canada, and for them to do that, it's critical that there are buyers out there for those homes, she said. But again, they don't understand why there's no buyers for these homes. And you look at Canada housing starts right now, they have ticked up a bit, but they are not very high when you compare them to how much the population is growing, and that's what they're always parroting. I mean, there's millions of basement suites that have come online over the past 5 years, and that's not even took into account with the housing inventory, and when they quote these numbers that they've got the lowest amount of homes in the G7 or something like that, it doesn't take into account the millions of basement suites that are coming online. But anyway, the reason why housing starts aren't doing so well, and the reason why people aren't buying new construction, is because it's priced way higher than the used resale market. So you've got to be brain dead or after one of these really dodgy loans in order to buy there. Because if you, and I've literally got a video coming out about this where I'm literally flying the drone and I say, look at this community here. This community here is 30% more expensive because it's a new home community and you get tiny homes for that money. And then right across the highway, you've got a community where you can buy homes for 30% less on bigger lots. It's just completely insane. Again, how do the appraisals work for those types of loans? It just shows the absolute corruption in this housing market, and also the corruption with this government as well, and the banksters, because this is a huge win for the banksters. So anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd highly recommend that you check out that video about the unbelievable losses that I put out yesterday. And if you're looking to protect your privacy, you know where to go. Go to expressvpn.com/marketmania, affiliate link in the description. It helps out the channel. It's the VPN that I use, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.